funny.
I'm here every morning.
I kid Ryan Hollins because he's my friend.
Here we go, Coach. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys taking on Tom Brady and the Patriots in Foxborough. Picked this up in the first quarter. No score. Brady looking for the rookie, N'Keal Harry. His first career touchdown. Nice job, kiddo. It was a beauty. Pats take a 7-0 lead. Jump to the fourth. Cowboys down 4. Driving. Dak finds Ezekiel Elliott for the first down, but Dallas penalized for a questionable tripping call. They actually had 2 tripping calls in this game. Couple plays later, Dak to Amari Cooper, who was having a very slow afternoon on 4th and 11. Big first down, but the play is reviewed. The ball clearly hits the ground here. Turnover on downs. 0 catches for Amari on the day. Patriots holding on for the 13-9 win. All right, Nick, let's start with you, and let's start with the Cowboys. Who do you blame for their loss in this one?
I know a ton of people are going to blame the officials. And that tripping call, both of them were egregious. The one at the end, particularly because of the time score situation of it. And it reminds you a little bit of, if you remember 2 months ago, the Detroit-Green Bay game on national television, where they kept calling incorrectly hands to the face. But the difference was, had they not called that against Detroit, Detroit was in position to win that game. If they don't call that tripping call against into this football game, the Cowboys still got to go 70 yards or 67 yards, I think it was 63 yards, in order to score a game-winning touchdown, and they hadn't been able to score a touchdown all game. So, yeah, the officiating was bad. Again, fine. The NFL deal with it in the offseason. Why were you in that position? Why in a game where New England has 0 elongated touchdown drives? They had 1 touchdown drive, and it was after a blocked punt. Shocker, New England whooped them in special teams. And, Coach, you tell me, special teams, I've always been told, is a reflection of coaching. That more so than anything else on the field, the special teams, not just special teams coach, but the way the team is coached from the top down. And when you get so confused by the Patriots punt team that you take a delay a game, that you then get an illegal motion penalty that changes field position by 20 yards, which, by the way, leads to one of New England's 3 field goals on the day. You look at it, or wait, 2 field goals on the day, pardon me, 2 made field goals on the day. You have to say, even before Jason Garrett inexplicably kicks a field goal on 4th and 7 when you're down 7 late in the 4th quarter, that if I'm dishing out blame, the Cowboys coaching staff has to get the lion's share of it, to my eye.
Well, with special teams, it's always been a priority for Bill Belichick, whether it's when he was in Cleveland or when we were in New England. He's going to draft players that are core special teams players. He's going to build the back end of the roster and the guys that the back end of the group that actually makes it to the game that are going to be core contributors to special teams. So there's no secret that that's always been a priority for him, and he puts a lot of emphasis on it in practice as well. So they're going to have an advantage there. You know, the confusion that Dallas had was surprising. But to me, offensively, the fact that they couldn't get Amari Cooper involved at any level was shocking. And look, Julian Edelman gets doubled. A lot of receivers get doubled. And I'm not advocating forcing the ball to someone, but you've got to be able to design some plays to where he has a chance to beat double coverage. Over routes are always a good answer. But besides that, if you sit back and you let New England dictate the terms of the game, you have no chance. You can't be stationary, and you can't lack creativity so that they can just do whatever they want to do. And it surprises me week in and week out where teams try that model against them and are surprised that they're not successful.
Give an example of what you're talking about. Where did they lack creativity? Where did they not play their game and
the greatest example of someone that used to give us a hard time was Mike Shanahan, because every single time he played him, it was what your weakness was. He was able to attack that weakness, and he'd do it the whole game. It could be 50 snaps of empty. It could be 50 snaps of big people, 22 personnel. And then you get the teams that come out and say, we're going to do what we do. We're going to get in 2-by-2, and we're going to run these routes, and maybe this week we'll motion to 3-by-1. And it's so vanilla that defensively you tee off on what they're doing. And now, instead of forcing New England to go to their sideline and say, hey, we got to stop this, we got to do this, make adjustments based off what the Cowboys are doing, they're just talking about how they're going to attack the next time they run that defense.
Yeah, the execution type of offenses or programs say we're going to do what we do, and you don't give them opportunity to have to adjust anything, so they're able just to get in a good rhythm. All you have to do is go back to the Baltimore game. You saw the different personnel groups, you saw the different ways that you attack and build things off of it. When we used to go against New England, what they used to do with us, because we were a heavy base type of man-to-man team, they would put Wes Walker in the backfield. So then now you have a corner in the box trying to figure out what they're going to do, and then you got them running into linebackers. I didn't see any of that creativity that we have heard about, the Dallas Cowboys with all the shifts and motions that they had been doing. We call it the window dressing. They didn't give him any window dressing, and they didn't find a way to get not only for him to catch a ball, but he only had 2 targets. When you talk about Amari Cooper. So you got to do a better job in trying to make the Patriots have to think about some things, and they didn't do that.
And the Baltimore example is a great example of what gives Tom problems. It's disguising, it's guys walking around, it's overload blitzes. It's not things that you just come up to the line of scrimmage and you get a pre-snap read. Everything is post-snap, and things don't look the same down in, down out, and that now makes you uncomfortable and forces you have to adjust.
And I hate to just bang on coaching, and I especially hate to do it when coach is sitting right here, because I know you think I probably do that too often. But this game in particular, all of us knew that New England's kicking it short. Troy is on the broadcast saying, guys, they're kicking it short. Why are you in the end zone? And guess what happens? They damn near fumble the ball back. They couldn't even field the kick. All of us knew that the Patriots were going to try in given spots, because they've done it throughout the season, to bring pressure on a punt. And the only thing New England's not returning punts for touchdowns. They're blocking punts for touchdowns. And you don't have Matthew Slater, one of the best special teams players over the last decade. Steve Tasker. Right, you don't have him blocked. And then at the end of the game, the situational coaching is, to me, inexplicable, except I can explain it because I've been watching Jason Garrett. A few weeks ago, you didn't understand the flow of the game, that Dak was playing one of his best games, Zeke was not, and you took the ball out of Dak's hands. Conversely, this week, Zeke, when they went to heavy personnel, when they either brought in an extra offensive lineman or had 2 tight ends on the field, New England had no answers. After the big Randall Cobb play, you need to, as a coaching staff, say, we are going to go heavy. We are in 4 down situation where 3 yards per carry will work, and we are feeding Zeke. They have a 1st and 10. They give the ball to Zeke. It's 3 yards. That's fine. 2nd down. You throw to Witten, who played one of his worst games of the season, and that's saying a lot. And then on 3rd down, on 3rd and 7, because evidently you're not going for it on 4th down, even if you pick up a few yards, you throw it out the back of the end zone. So you kick a field goal there, which is great, because you were down a touchdown, and now you're down a touchdown. And that is, to me, the vintage example of coaching not to lose. In fact, let me amend that. Coaching to delay losing instead of coaching to win. Because you kicked a field goal on 4th and 7 inside the 20, you now have to go for a 4th and 11 on your own side of the field 4 minutes later because you're out of options. That, to me, that can't happen.
Well, look, in fairness, from a coaching perspective, how many more coaches can they fire in Dallas? I mean, they fire coaches pretty much every year.
Except for one.
I understand, but they've turned that over quite a bit. And the field goal, when they took the field goal when they did, it's one of those things where you kick it and then you have one of the top-ranked defenses in the league. You figure that they're going to go out and be able to stop them. But if they don't, it is an insurance policy. If New England goes down and kicks a field goal, you still have a chance to be in that game. If you go for it on 4th and 7, New England gets a drive and kicks a field goal, the game's effectively over.
Right, but I guess my argument, my pushback there, the problem would be is you have to know that if they were down 6, I feel very differently. If they're down 6, where now a field goal cuts it to 1 field goal, what were the odds that Dallas, who over the first 56 minutes of the game had not been able to drive the ball on an extended drive throughout the entire game, was going to, in a 2-minute offense situation where New England knows what you have to do, going to be able to drive the length of the field? Because they did get that stop. They got the stop they wanted to get to where a touchdown could win, and they ended up throwing an incomplete pass on 4th and 11.
Well, you're trusting Dak Prescott, right, who was one of the hottest quarterbacks coming into this week, throwing for over 800 yards in the last 2 weeks. And, things change. You can be struggling as an offense the entire game.